Okay, this is my homemade garlic infused oil. I'm going to take one out for today's recipe, which is an Italian steak dish. Let's see. Ooh, that's pretty stiff. Let's see here. See if I can get just one to fall out. All I need is one. Let me see. I'm not experienced at making garlic infused oil, so I may have to do some tricks here to get it out of the ice tray. I only want one. So let's see how I can do this. Usually with ice trays you go like this. But this is oil, so it operates a little differently. Okay. This is turning out to be more difficult than I anticipated. Freezing oil. I've never dealt with this before. Okay, when I figure this out, I'll turn the camera back on. Nobody has any advice online on how to do this, so I'll just use my brains here. Let's try a sharp knife. Get around the edges and kind of loosen it. I'm going to try to take this one out. Aha! There we go! That worked. You kind of have to run the knife along the edges and then just ply it out. A knife like this works great. Okay. And I shall put the rest of these back in the freezer. Yeah, because I made this more than 3 days ago, I needed to freeze it this way. Yep. That's perfect. Perfect. So now I'm going to let it thaw out right there. Let it thaw out and it'll be all ready for today's recipe. Okay, I'm going to need some fresh tomato juice for this recipe. And I need to make me some. I have a better knife than this, but I'll get that out later. I'll be using that on the meat. So let's just go ahead and make me some fresh tomato juice. I mean, not tomato juice, lemon juice. And so I'm just going to go ahead and squeeze it all out of here. And then I'll stick it in here. And as you can see, that olive oil is thawing out really good. That's about all I'm going to need. So you take it out of the ice cube tray, and within 20 minutes it's thawed out. And that's perfect. This is garlic infused olive oil that I made myself, and I have a video about how I did that at this channel. Okie dokie, let's go ahead and I stored the lemon juice in one of these little jars. It's like a leftover pimiento jar. There, that's good. I'm going to keep it in the refrigerator. There's more than enough there for today's recipe, and probably enough for some future recipes. Okay, I'm using a little more tomato than the recipe calls for because the steak that I bought is a little over a pound. So I'm modifying the recipe accordingly. These need to be chopped. So let's just go ahead and take this out. And yes, and this is an Italian recipe. As you know, Italians use a lot of garlic. And I will be modifying the recipe. The recipe is at my website as part of a PDF file from the Around the World American Heart Association cookbook at my website, and I'll have a link to that underneath this video. So what I'm going to do now is get ready to chop these tomatoes. Let's see. Oh, goodness. I thought the knife would be right. Oh, yeah, the knife's right here. Okay. Shouldn't take very long. Just chop them up. Then I will be using sirloin steak for today's recipe. Yes, you can even have sirloin steak on a budget if you are smart with your food spending. So, yeah. These are Italian Roma tomatoes. I will admit that limiting my shopping to Walmart. I mean, if you wanted this to be super delizioso, as the Italians say, and really, so that you really want to mangia or eat, you would use vine-ripened tomatoes. So, but, that's okay. It'll still be good. So let's go ahead and put that in there. So let me go ahead and chop them up like this, and then when I'm done, I'll work on the steak. For your tomatoes, I got a different cutting board out. I'm using the new cutting boards. Thank you, my supporter. Now I need to cut up this is sirloin tip steak. And I'm going to cut it up into strips for stir frying. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, and the serving size pieces. I tend to cook Japanese Chinese style, so we'll go ahead and take this out now. I decided to treat myself, but when I found out that I am reacting to garlic, onions, and wheat, I had to prepare for this meal in advance by making garlic infused, my homemade version of garlic infused oil, because I'm on a budget, and I'm certainly not going to buy it already prepared. I'm going to make it myself. Yeah. And since I don't only cook Italian, but I cook other countries' foods, I didn't want to make as much as you'd probably buy in a bottle of garlic infused oil. So yeah, all right. Actually, let's go ahead and take, you know what, I probably will save time if I just kind of cut it like this. And then I can take off any extra fat I see later. So, you know what, no I won't. I will save more time by going individual because I want to take some of the fat off. Yeah. There, that's good. Hey, you know what? Actually, I was right the first time. That's nice right there. Let's go ahead and go this way. Kind of like Chinese style, you know. I make lots of Chinese and Japanese food too, so my food's kind of like a blend between Italian and Asian. Chinese and Japanese specifically. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Yeah. That's good. All right. Let's make sure I'm in the picture. Yep, I am. Sometimes I forget that I'm on camera, you know. All right. Serving size pieces. Okay, so I'm going to go through the steak like you see me doing here and cut it into serving size pieces. And then when I'm done, I will go to the next step. Okay, there it is. Let's put that in a separate container to get ready for stir frying. Okay, the heat is medium. I need to heat the oil over medium heat. Let's get as much of it out as I can. I'm just going to go ahead and use it all. I find extra oil helps me with garlic, though this is garlic infused oil, so. Yeah, it's probably about a tablespoon. The recipe calls for like 1.5 teaspoons, but you know, I have a little bit more steak than the recipe calls for, so let's spread it around. Heat the oil over medium heat. This is garlic infused oil. Sear the steak pieces until they reach desired doneness, about 10 minutes for rare. Let me get the cover to these because I need to cover these when they're done so that they stay warm. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've got the containers ready. Yeah. This is the okay. Let's go ahead and throw that in there. A little bit hotter. I am not using garlic in this recipe simply because garlic gives me digestive issues. Okay. Maybe I should have heated it up a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to wait for it to heat up and then I'll turn the camera back on. Okay, it's starting to heat up. I actually put the heat on high just because my stove is slow. And then as soon as it starts sizzling a little bit, So for about 10 minutes, I think, I'm going to lower the going. Okay, let's go ahead and lower it down to about 7. That's about medium for this. Actually, by letting the steak kind of simmer in the garlic a little bit, that garlic oil, that'll probably give it a little bit more of a garlic flavor, even though I'm not using garlic. So, I'm going to put it up on 8. I cut most of the fat off of the meat, but I left a little bit on there because sometimes a little bit of that fat gives it a kind of a nice flavor, you know. But I want most of the flavor to come from the garlic infused olive oil. And I like my steak a little bit on the rare side, so I don't want to overcook it. Besides, this is going to be leftovers, and then when it gets reheated, yeah, so I don't probably do about 10 minutes here. Yeah, about 8 on my stove is medium heat, so. Okay, let's kind of do this for about another 10 minutes. Let's get a close-up there so you can see it a little bit better. Yeah. Kind of get right on over it here. Okay. Actually, it's going to be done pretty soon, I can tell. So, I've got a little tripod here that I use. Okay. I've made this recipe before, and it is very good. Except before when I made it, I wasn't having issues with garlic. So let's just see if I will give you my final verdict when I taste it at the end, like I do for everything I make. And my policy is if the recipe is good, then it's a keeper and I upload it to YouTube. If it's not good, okay, this is actually good enough. Let me go ahead and take it out. I do not like to overcook. Yep, I'm going to go ahead and take it out. I like my meat a little bit on the rare side. This is steak. There we go. A little bit over a pound, so I put in a little bit more olive oil, a little bit more tomatoes. That's good. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and cover the meat so that it stays warm. So I got it right in there. See, there's the meat. Okay. And some meat is in there too. Alright, next step. It says to add, this is the step where you add garlic to the skillet, but because I use garlic infused oil, we'll skip that and go right on to the next step. Add the rest of the ingredients except for the meat. Here's tomatoes. Lemon juice, a teaspoon. Probably go with about a teaspoon, yeah. I can put in a little bit more because I'm using a little bit more meat. Okay. And then a fourth teaspoon dried oregano. That's about right. And a little bit more because we're using a little bit more meat. There we go. Black pepper to taste. Yeah, I think a little bit of black pepper would be good. That would make it good. And a little bit of salt. We can always add more, because somebody can always add more of that later if they want. Okay. Cook over medium heat until the tomatoes are tender but still have texture. This is medium heat, about number 8 on my skillet here, on my stove I mean. Okay, till the almost done here. And I will let you know if the garlic infused oil ruined it or made it better or didn't make much difference. It might make a lot of difference in how I feel after I eat this though. Okay, let's just, tomatoes are tender but still have texture. A little bit more cooking here. Yeah, a little bit more. It smells good. Like I said, I stored this olive oil in the freezer and it seems to have, when it thaws out, it doesn't look any different than regular olive oil, so. A little bit more. Tender. A little bit more. Nope, not tender yet. Okay, that's good. Okay, it's about 5 minutes. We turn the meat to the skillet along with any juices and cook gently for a few minutes, combining the flavors. Here we go. Oh yeah, the juices are important. Yeah. There we go. And you know what? I should save this. This would be good to save it in here. Okay. Combine flavors. Go ahead and turn the heat off. I think next time if I make this, I might cook the meat even a little bit less. But it'll still be good because I really like the meat to be a little bit rare, but it'll still be good though. I have some rice to eat this with, but for an Italian would probably eat this with pasta. So, yeah, I think I overcooked the steak just a bit, but I just turned the heat off. Let me show you what it looks like. To my preference, I like it a little bit more rare. Okie dokie. But that's what it looks like. Nice dish, eh? I deliberately undersalt my food, that way people at Church of Gail, this is all being transported to Church of Gail. Here's the Italian steak dish that was made with sirloin steak. Here's yesterday's dish, macaroni salad ricotta made with corn rice pasta. And I use sea salt. And this is all being, this is, I guess, their lunch. It's all being transported to Church of Gail. So I'm having this. This is all Italian style. Macaroni salad ricotta and steak and tomato lemon sauce here. Actually, if you add enough salt, it's quite tasty. You don't really miss the garlic that much. The garlic infused oil does capture the garlic flavor, so I'm sure my men are having a treat at Church of Gail. Kind of Italian style today, so I can still eat Italian even though I have problems with garlic and onions, and pasta. So that's a nice feeling. I have noticed the leftover corn rice pasta is a little different texture than the wheat, but it's still good. It's still good. I still feel like I'm eating Italian here, so my men, I'm certain, are enjoying this. And mangia, let's eat, as they say in Italian. Here's the dish. Let's see how it tastes. It's a little hot. Not bad. I will admit that cooking with real garlic does seem to improve it a little bit. Let me add some salt. Not bad. So you might say, what's your verdict on garlic infused oil? Not quite as good as using real garlic, but it's still good. I'm thinking maybe I could use more pepper. No, pepper's good. Needs a little more salt. I will admit, using real garlic would probably improve the flavor of this a bit. But it's not bad. All I can say is, if you don't have a problem with garlic, use real garlic. Just like the recipe is in a PDF file at a link underneath this video. So if you can get away with using real garlic, go ahead. If you add a little more salt, it's almost as good as with the garlic. Maybe I just needed more salt. Not bad. It's pretty good here. Yeah. If you add more salt, yeah, you can taste the garlic a little bit, but it's not going to upset my stomach because this is garlic infused oil. It's not bad at all, and has a nice Italian flavor. This recipe will be posted at my YouTube channel. I modified it for people like myself that need to have low FODMAP food, you know, because garlic, onions, and wheat are issues with me right now. This is a good recipe. This is good. I think I just didn't put enough salt on it. Not bad at all. It's good.